sir, this is Vickie Landrum from Dayton, Texas.
Yes.
A deer come down and it was like fire was coming from it. Right ahead of us, and we had to stop. And we got out of the car, which I didn't stay out but just a minute because I had my little grandson, which I got custody of, and I got back in the car. There's nothing happened to me but my eyes was burned. But the Betty Cash that was with me that night not started coming, and she had a real terrible headache. And so she's been in Parkview Hospital over 2 weeks. I got out and she stayed 2 weeks and I had to put her back. And all of her hair has come out. They can't find out exactly what's wrong with her. They keep saying it could be this. There's a possibility of that. But instead of her getting better, she gets worse. And could it have had anything to do with that thing that we stood and watched? Because we were close enough to it that we felt the fire from it.
How close do you feel you were to that?
I'd be safe to say it wasn't more than maybe a block and a half from it. Lit up the whole element. And I thought the world was coming to the end. I really did. I told my grandson not to be afraid that if he saw something come out of it, that it would be Jesus. That's the only way I could explain to him to keep him from going into his area.
Was this a fairly large object?
Yes, sir.
Would it be larger than your car?
Yes, sir.
And did it land on the ground?
No, sir. It come down almost to the treetop, and then it went back up and went to the right of us. And we counted 23 helicopters. There might have been more. Coming on 1960 over here, we counted those helicopters up there, so there has to be somebody that knew about it. If it was caused from that, I don't want her to die. I want her to get better.
What roadway were you on at the time?
We was on the cutoff road, what they call the New Katy and Huffman Road. My name's Vickie Landrum, and her name is Betty Cash, and she's in Parkview Hospital. Now, one of the doctors believed that we might have got some radiation, but he is not positive. He taken her blood, and it didn't show up any in her blood. But in less than 2 weeks' time, she had lost all her hair, except right around the bottom. And she had hair that you wouldn't believe. And I mean, this is not a hoax. I'm not calling you for a hoax. Call the Parkview Hospital and verify what I'm telling you. I'm not putting you on. I wish somebody would go to the hospital and see that lady.
We're going to see if we can't get some help for you, and they'll call ahead of time and make an appointment.
I mean, I've been afraid to call, afraid that somebody would think I was, it's a hoax. But since I had to go back in the hospital for the same thing, and she's not getting any better. I have to have help from somewhere, don't she's going to die.
Okay, we're going to do everything we can to help.
Okay, thank you a lot.
Thank you.
But the government may have been involved in an incident along this East Texas highway in 1980.
It was a solid physical thing. It did damage the road out here. It damaged the car they were in. It damaged the 3 people involved. It was followed by multiple helicopters.
3 people saw a diamond-shaped object above the road. About 24 helicopters followed it. The witnesses were Betty Cash and Vickie Landrum, and Landrum's grandson, Colby.
If there is UFOs like we're talking about that's smarter than we are, that come in here, the government is going to have to own up to it.
This was Betty Cash before the sighting. Then she began to suffer hair loss associated with radiation poisoning. She has since endured a double mastectomy. Vickie Landrum developed sores on her body and other symptoms typical of radiation exposure.
We wouldn't have burned ourselves. We wouldn't have pulled our hair out. We wouldn't have pulled our fingernails off. We wouldn't have had sores that when I'd go to the grocery store, people would get in the other aisle.
This fire is coming down. Now it's going back. So Kofi, don't be afraid. Everything's going to be all right. If you look right in the center, see it? See the object right in the center. He's still a big man, that'll be Jesus. And baby, it won't hurt us. There's no way it'll ever hurt us, because he'll never hurt nobody. And he'll carry us to a much, much better place. Betty, get back in the car, please. We're gonna burn up, Betty. Now, Betty, it's gonna be all right. It's lifting. It's lifting. It's lifting. We can't tell nobody.
Can't tell anybody?
Mm-mm.
Why not?
I told Colby not to.
Why not?
Because I didn't believe it myself, so why should anybody else? I told Colby I'd whip him if he told anybody.
How has this experience changed your life?
Well, it's not very pleasant anymore.